Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Program with Santier. I'm Santier, and today I'm probably not going to keep looking at the main window, but today I wanted to begin addressing something with task modules. So the last thing that I'm going to do, and last time we finished the scheduled view control, which was super exciting, but I was realizing, this has some I/O needs, yeah, but it also has one more, which is pretty simple, actually. Protected abstract void. So this is going to need a archive. This is going to take a stream writer output. And then, int depth. Depth is real important for this. Void archive. Stream writer output int depth. Okay, so writes this module to an archive. The archive file to write to the current depth. So this is going to need to do a few things, like output.write plus id.toString plus environment.newline. Actually, is there an output.write? Yeah, just write line. Okay, I'll probably use write line instead of this right here. And then this is, does need its little closey bit. I'm basically going to copy it. So I'm going to basically set this up to look more like XML. Now there's something really important that I need to add into the front of each of these, but I'll get to that in just one moment, because I need to call archive output depth plus 1. Okay, so what we have right here is this, we'll just like put the name and then the contents of this particular module, and then it will kind of close it as in a closed tag. That's the idea anyway. Now I need to add something, and I'm just going to come down here and come to the bottom. I have some crazy things right here, so I'm just going to add another static public int 2 tabs. This int tab count. And this not ints. Well, I'll get to this in just a second. It needs to be a string. Generates a string of tabs with the number of tabs equal to the passed int. The number of desired tabs. A string of tabs. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to make a string tabs, and then for int I equals 0, I is less than tab count, plus I, tabs, plus equals tab, return tabs. So this is just going to make a bunch of tabs. This is kind of wonky, but it's going to make life a little bit easier. So I'm going to just make string tabs equal depth dot to tabs, and then I can go tabs plus this, tabs plus this. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm getting this stuff set up before I start setting up new task modules, because at this point with this program, where I'm at with it, is I'm really fairly complete in a lot of this. In terms of I'm kind of at a point where what I need is simply to make more modules so that way this is useful. And then I can implement search once I've kind of got all the modules that I know that I want in. But this is really exciting for me. So what I think I'm going to start doing right now is kind of, and through like this episode or maybe the next one if it goes into it, is set up all of the functionality that I need for implementing saving, loading, and archiving. Because those are the things that I want this to be able to do. And so if I get that set up, then I can actually start saving stuff and things like that. So that's something that is really exciting to me. That does mean that I'll be needing to add another setting at some point, which is going to be for an autosave functionality. So it'll autosave every so often. Now, the thing that's a little bit tricky about that is theoretically it would be best to have the autosave have some sort of thing that says, hey, if we just, if the data hasn't changed, then, don't save. But, and I did set up something kind of like that, as you may recall, from the timeline tool that I made previous to working on this. But implementing that's actually like, at this point, I've written enough code where I'd need to kind of maybe think about adding that I don't want to necessarily worry about setting that up. But I'll think about how I want to handle it. So it should probably automatically always save when you close or when you do the on hide. So like main window right here. I should actually go here and go form. Is there like a on hide or it's just easy enough to go let's see, form closing right here and go save, and right here and go save. Just that way when you whenever you hide it, it will save the data. That's probably good enough now that I think about it. Just automatically save on those things, and then there will be a right here also save right before doing exit it from there, and I'll be adding a context menu to the notify icon, and that also will need there will be an exit on there, so that way you can right click on it and tell it to exit, and it will close it, but save your information first. So that's probably how I'm going to set most of that up. That's actually probably good enough. Like theoretically, I would want to make sure it gets saved when it's just like being shut down in general. But honestly, this can just be. Sorry, I was just thinking this can be static. And then I can actually go into program right here and just go main window dot save. So that way, just when the program exits, it saves. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Just do it right there. then I don't technically need one. Where was the other spot? Because right now this doesn't have any compelling reason to not just be static. But right here, there's no need for it either. I don't know, just being very thorough, making sure that I save plenty of spaces. But this means I don't actually need an autosave because it'll just save like regularly when you like close the window and other things. And when the thing gets closed, it'll make sure it saves as well. So that should kind of... It means I'm going to be having a file floating around, but that's okay. And we're going to start... Once I get the save stuff working, we're going to actually like maintain stuff between between sessions. So that will be interesting. It's easy enough to clear out. I can just go to where the file is and delete it, and that'll clear it out. But okay, so what I want to do right now is consider the data that this thing has. So due date, completed, recurring, recurrence rate, and alerts. So I need to add some of this stuff because I added alerts, right? So before I had the due date, completed, recurring, and recurrence rate, which is right here, recurrence rate dot total minutes, due date, and then those two things. But I actually need to add. I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to go int alert count equal input.read int 32. This is important when you add data to make sure you're saving that data. And then for in, whoops, missed my parenthesis. All right, this one should be fine. 0 input.read int 32 0. And then when okay, so I write flags, and then I need to go output.write alerts.count, and then for each time span alert in alerts output.write int alert.total minutes. And this is reading in the minutes. Yeah, that's reading in on the minutes. Something you want to be really careful about, by the way, is the order in which arguments are processed. So these are called arguments. They're passed into the parameters. And the order in which they're processed is something that's really important to consider if order matters, like when you're reading data. If I were reading hours and minutes, I would absolutely 100% read them the way that I know that they need to be read before I go in here. But because it's just by itself, it's okay. But I don't 100%, like, I think these are usually processed like right to left or something. But because I have a bit of uncertainty in which order is going to be read, it's just much, much safer. If I was going to have like another input dot read int 32 line, it would be much better to have it inside, like, if I was passing these two things, it'd be much better to have them on separate lines. So just a little alert or heads up or whatever you might want to say. Okay, so this stuff has its proper depth. So the next thing that I want to do is, let's see. I want to go ahead and, wow, I actually want something from this guy right here. I want this nonsense. I'm going to want that for a couple of things over here. I'm just going to plop that there. So the first thing that I want to do is output dot write line date plus due date dot toString plus date like so. Output dot write line completed plus completed dot toString slash completed, and then output dot write line recurring plus recurring dot toString plus slash recurring. This is just tedious, and I'm sorry. There's no way to make it like if recurring output dot write line recurrence rate plus recurrence rate this thing plus slash recurrence rate. And I need to go through all of these and add the indent, and then if alerts dot count is greater than 0 for each time span alert and alerts output dot write line alert this business plus alert. Okay, let's just copy paste some stuff. This is supposed to have a slash in front. This does not need that many dots. This needs that. I need output dot write line alerts, and then take this line and make a duplicate back here. Go string tabs equals depth dot to tabs, and then I need to go start of each of these and add that onto the front. See, this is like, I imagine there are better ways of writing XML, but this is what I think of when I think of like writing XML, which is why I'm generally not terribly interested in alert tabs, because the T equals depth plus 1. Actually, this would be a lot quicker if I just go tabs plus slash T. Alert tabs. There we go. So now when I say archive, it should archive this with the information that's supposed to have. There's, like I said, there's probably better ways of setting up XML. This is kind of what this is, but I'm going to be quite blunt and say I have not researched that, and I'm just going to do this. So I'm sorry if that annoys anyone. Okay, so now this does that properly, and this has its IO stuff set up. Let's go ahead and go to sort of the next bit, which is let's go ahead and go to tasks. Let's go ahead and drink some water. I like water. And let's go ahead and add a region for IO right here. Okay, so I need a public void, actually public void write binary. Okay, I'm gonna need enough I/O stuff that I'm gonna using system.io. Binary writer, yeah. Public void archive. Stream writer, yeah. This is gonna need its int depth again. Always important. String tabs equals depth dot two tabs. You can see why I wanted to do that sort of thing because I'm using the two tabs a lot with the archive process. And it's just a lot cleaner if I do it that way, even if it's super weird. Now, when I'm thinking about how I want to set this up, I can probably just make one and then read in its information. So let's do that. Public void read binary reader input. So I'm actually going to move this up here. Because the archive is logically similar to the write, but I don't know, I want to arrange it this way. So I'm going to make the write first, and let's look through what data we actually have. So we need to mark whether or not this has been completed. Its ID we do not need to save, nor its category ID. So we'll need its modules, its name. Let's actually start with that. Output.write name. Name equals input.read string. So I'm just going to kind of try to keep these synced up. Let's see. So actually, I'm gonna call this outer tabs, and then inner tabs. Actually, just tabs equal outer tabs plus a tab. So output dot write line task. This is going to be outer tab. My fingers just automatically wrote friggin' output of all things, which makes a certain amount of sense, but and then close the task, and then output dot write line tabs plus name plus name slash name. Okay, so like most of what I'm going to be doing this episode clearly is just setting up stuff for reading, writing, and archiving. So let's go ahead and save. Let's see. So we have completed, priority, archive status, name, ID I don't want to save, category ID I don't want to save, creation date I do, task modules I do, priority I do. So let's go ahead and just, I don't know, output dot, no, creation date right here equals new date, and this is going to be, okay, I need to figure out how date saves itself. So let's do this first. Output.write creation date dot to binary. Let's see. Does this have like date time dot from binary? Input dot read int 64. Okay, so that's something that I actually want to go double check. In this, because I was just checking to make sure that I got that right. I bet. Nope, I am doing from binary right there. Just like I should, like a smart person. That's, I'm gonna hide that again. Okay, now, I'm gonna go ahead and add output dot right line. Wow, if I can type tabs plus creation date plus creation date dot to string plus let's get rid of extra, or let's close our tab because that's the right thing to do. Okay, so what do I want to do next? Drink some water while I figure out what I'm doing next. Let's go ahead and write out completed and archived. So I don't actually know how much I need to, whatever. So one of the things that this needs to do right here is set archived equals true, because it will be after I do this. But the other thing is, like, if completed is equal to, or if completed, do this. Otherwise, don't. That's how I'm going to set this up. It's probably going to be a little bit more complicated the way that I actually kind of write things with handling categories, because I kind of want to avoid writing categories that aren't like actually doing anything. I would ask if you just want me to skip doing all of this stuff and just show you the final thing, but I'm doing these so far in advance, it's ludicrous, and I don't have a good ability to ask that, so I'm sorry. So theoretically, we shouldn't need to worry about writing archived status, because if it's archived, it shouldn't be getting saved anymore, if that makes sense. So one of the things that I need to do in the save process is go through and sort of purge archived stuff so it doesn't exist in the file anymore. So I'm not going to worry about writing out archive status, so I'm just going to write completed. Excuse me for that burp. Read Boolean. I'm just going to add note. Archiving removes it from saving, so don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to add that note to both spots, just to make sure like we know what's going on. Okay, so completed priority. Oh yeah, I need to add output dot right line tabs. Well, I mean, I don't need to add completed to this because it should be completed. Technically, it was redundant to put completed on the other thing, but whatever. I'm not going to worry about that. So if this isn't completed, then it shouldn't be getting archived, which is what my code says. So, okay, let's see. So name. I think the last thing I need to do here is priority, and then task modules, of course. So let's go ahead and do priority. Output, no, this is priority equals input.read int32. Technically, I could probably make this even a byte, but I'm not going to. Input.write int priority. Okay, and then output.write Oh yeah, let's go ahead and add that here. Dot right line tabs plus priority plus priority dot toString plus priority that. And then output dot right line tabs plus let's see, modules. I'm going to add an if task modules dot count is greater than 0. Boop boop. And then for each task module in task modules module dot archive output depth +1. There we go. Is that? No, that's actually depth +2. Because these are all at depth +1, which is what that is, and then depth +2. Okay. Most of the contents is at depth +1. As that is where tabs actually is. So just making note of what's going on there. Okay, so now I just want to output dot write task modules dot count. It's always important to output that because otherwise we have no idea how many we have. And then for each task module, so I want to finish task. I'll come back for like category next time and like trying to hook everything up. Maybe if I get through all of category. I know this is a bit tedious, but it's something that I need to do for this to actually be a useful program. Because otherwise, it's like not useful between like turning off your computer, for example. You want turning off your computer to not make you not have any tasks anymore. Because that's inconvenient. Okay. Module in task modules. Again, I'm just going to do very simple stuff. Module dot write output. There we go. And then right here, I just need int module count. Like this is not stuff that we haven't seen before. Equals input dot read 32 for int I. If I can type straight, it'll even come together quickly. Okay, so then I just need module task module read put. Okay. Actually, that's not how I do this. I need to add module. Right. Like that. Yeah, like that, because that uses this one. Important to do that because that hooks stuff up. Always remember to use your functions that hook stuff up. Because if we look at what this does, you'll notice that it sets the module's owner to this, and that is something that we often rely upon. So, okay, I think that sets up what this needs to do. So next time, we will brave this same task with categories. And it will be a task, I am sure. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.